computer dies for a second. Now we continue. I have a bike now, which is great. We're gonna go see a man about a horse, and by a man I mean a group of scavengers, and a horse I mean their loot. So, should be a fun time. I believe the great Pudpillery has come to a cessation. Oh. Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse myself. Need through. Alright, I am gonna fill a container and drink. And we're gonna take an opportunity real quick. Build some slightly better armor, because I'm not going to need a still suit for a while now, because I have a bike, and the bike should make living on the desert a little easier. I also have a leader John, which is not a big one, but it is a 1 nonetheless. Yeah, so 28 armor versus 27 armor, but we also have more blade mitigation here, which is good. Okay. I also want to finish one more thing before we go. Copy that piece. Put it there. And then I'm going to put this in here. This. Actually. There we go. I don't quite need that yet. First. Oof. Okay. It should be just an eensy bit easier now. I still don't want to take unnecessary risks, so I'm actually going to bang out this way. I don't like that I am more or less going directly towards the worm. Okay, 3 of those stings means the worm is aware of my existence. Because... maybe it's part of the soundtrack. But I've only ever heard that, like, in the context of the worm has locked onto you. Right? It was a really nice little survival tool back in the day. I don't remember... I'm going to look into research over here in vehicles. A vehicle backup tool. Okay, it's actually going to do me good. Go ahead and research this, and now I can get this. Because, yeah. I'm not going to grab the secondary seat, the jump seat, whatever you want to call it. I may, however, grab a cistern and this. And a mullet pistol. Okay, I do want that. That's gonna... Oh, I actually think I'll have something a little better here soon. Just from doing these quests. Okay. Exit the vehicle. I wonder if I can craft a backup tool. No. Okay, so I'd have to do that. That's fine. Doubtful, quite frankly. And while I am here, it's probably not the best place to do this, but while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and jam the stop order into here, because I won't need to sprint around now. Oh, good. Five. There's a...
Someone's here. Need reinforcements.
Definitely feels a lot better when you have armor. Okay, that didn't work. Come here. I hear him. Okay, the stop seems to be a more AoE. Okay, dealt with her. Dealt with him. I always say things like your water. Oh, hey, True Pro Gamer, what's up? Hope you're doing okay. I, on the other hand, am in the process of trying not to get yeeted. Seems to be going okay. Oh, there he is. Ah! Got him. Like I said, I'm doing okay. Got some incense going. Just playing some Dune. Been out of the game for a few months, and figured I'd get kind of a new start before the new update. That, I mean, that could come, I guess, more or less any time. It could come. It's probably going to be a while, but no, I'm doing great. Feeling better than I have in a while. 2, which is always good. Oh, let's see here. There's still a guy moseying around in here. I can't find him. Well, there's something here. Microflora fiber. Anything over here? Mostly I play solo. I have co-opted a little bit with my buddy's son. Of course, they've more or less dropped out of the game, but I think once the updates roll out, that'll change. But yeah, generally I kind of play by myself unless we're doing like overworld stuff. Where is he? What about you? You more of a solo guy, or do you like playing with friends? Yeah, we got him. Tell you what, I really miss playing with my buddies is like Star Wars: The Old Republic. That was one of my. That's probably one of the first games I streamed. Come to think of it, let's see. We get Kalof Drinker. Cool. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game. Karpov. We got a Kinjal. We got. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff. It's a good day. Play with friends. Nice. Honestly, this game is definitely made around playing with friends. So if you've got a good group you're hanging with, that's the way to go. Like I personally, I believe it's totally doable solo. It's just a lot more tedious. Been a while since I've been in here, so I don't quite remember what else is available. It looks like I got everything. And I left my bike. Oh. But only really ever playing with a small group or with or by myself has made it kind of hard. Oh, nice. What kind of mic are you getting, man? Actually, like, I wouldn't say I'm super into sound stuff, but I definitely like the gear. Pugsys XLR. Okay. Well, that is quite the pitch. Yeah, that sounds like a good mic. I'm a big fan of XLR myself. I use a hell, I can't see the stuff on it right now. But it's a good XLR. It's actually more of a podcast microphone. They had it recommended to me by a YouTuber that had really good sound, and it was pretty inexpensive. No, that sounds like a good one. I will say I do like HyperX mostly for hearing. Holtzman amplifier. Times one. It sounds like that. What's being implied here is that this Holtzman amplifier is somewhere in the rack and I've missed it. Aha! I don't know how I'm missing these little boxes. I keep missing the funny little stuff. And now I'm stuck in here again. The Dune has awakened. Cool. I like that emote. I'm not sure what that emote is because I'm about half blind. But I like its vibe. And we're about the vibes here. This feels very marketing-y. Marketing coded? Which, hey, get your nut, bud, but... Let's see here. See if we can sneak around this guy. Hopefully I can become John Arrakis. Oh, that's a worm. Oh, okay. Uh, well, I may look into it. I really am good on audio gear right now, but it does sound like a cool mic. I think I have an inordinate amount of just random electronics. Oh, there's another cave. I like the bike. I'm really looking forward to getting an ornithopter because the flying in this game it's just fun to me. I like it. Like it's super simple. I mean, it's not like a War Thunder or anything, but and definitely not IL-2 levels of flight. But I think it's nice. I think it's kind of cool to just be able to float around and enjoy yourself. And the game, it's the you know, they did a really good job making, miles and miles of desert actually kind of nice. Like I can hang out on this and just enjoy it. Oop. It would be cool to set up some like I know some servers host like racing events and stuff. I think it would be cool to do some like sand bike racing or what's the little wheel. Yeah, I remember watching that. That came out. Did that come out with the first Dune movie? Like these Dune movies, or was that? I can't remember if that came out either before or after the first movie, or if it came out with the second.
Ah, you keep
But
coming
yeah,
back
I
like this.
have
I'll have to stop calling you stranger. Stranger?
I have Microsoft Flight Sim. I need to try that out though. I don't really fancy the idea of buying buying the Ornithopter, assuming the Ornithopter DLC had to be purchased. What am I doing here? I am not doing that. I'm not selling things, that's for sure. Alright. Deliver items. We're gonna deposit. We're gonna go boop. Okay. And I'm gonna track this. Do I have any micro sandwich fiber on me? No. I am a silly goose. You gotta keep that stuff on you, I suppose. Like, normally I farm it, so I should have a fair amount. But, that's something I gotta remember to do well, it's probably gonna be more a thing I do once I get a first ornithopter. Because farming the stuff is one thing, getting it across the rift is another. Or not the rift, but the Vermilius Gap. So, because the gap is very wide, and on a tier 1 bike, it sucks. It's a little spookier to cross than I'd like. Oh no! I got this. We gonna yeet. No fall damage. Let's go. I keep trying to spell with F because I've been playing a lot of Cyberhonk lately.
There's someone here.
That's fine. Get him. Yeet. Oh, there's somebody else in here, sound like. Maybe? Oh, no. Alright, your stuff belongs to me now. Thank you. You won't be needing it, so I will take it. It's not like you're some sort of, you know, resurrected clone thing. Those certainly aren't a regular part of the Dune universe. Right? Yep, this is where we're going. So now it's time for cake. Oh. Well, that's a complicated answer. The short answer is no. The long answer is kind of. So, as far as magic, like like fantasy magic, no, there's not. However, in the Dune universe, there's a lot of highly evolved humans running around who have abilities like, for example, I'm running a Bene Gesserit character, and she has the ability, along with other Bene Gesserit, to essentially communicate with people in a way that makes them act differently. The Bene Gesserit have such control, A, over their own bodies, and over things like language and forces of perception, that they can, essentially, they can manipulate people to a nearly unlimited degree, depending on how strong they are. So, take, for example, you know, my character, the backstory on how this character would have gotten it would have been like somebody just sort of taught her some tricks. So it's not very strong. Yeah. So that's more or less how the yeah. So if you know the lore from the movies, you have a pretty good grasp of what the Bene Gesserit do. If you get into the books, it gets deeper. If you go back and HBO's got it's honestly a pretty decent series. I think it's called like Dune Prophecy. It's been a while since I watched it. It gets a little bit more into how all of that actually works. And then one thing you won't be familiar with from the movies, but that's in the books and comes up later in the series, I won't really say how, is the concept of the Gola corpse. So when I make a joke about there not being weird clone resurrection stuff going on here, a Gola corpse takes some of the brain tissue from a dead person, and they regrow that person. And technically, a Gola isn't supposed to have memories from their old life. But because Dune also uses, or Frank Herbert also used the concept of genetic memory, think Assassin's Creed, that can happen. How that happens, when that happens, that's a little bit more vague, and also might be relevant to some things that I don't want to spoil, game-wise or story-wise. You know, but yeah, there's some really wild stuff, because this is like, you know, if you're familiar with like Warhammer 40,000 or 40k, right? Like that's, you know, 38,000 years from now. Dune is set 86-ish thousand years from now. So the level of advancement in humanity is just absolutely wild. You've also, of course, if you've seen the movies, you're familiar with Mentats, and the Mentats are human computers. Like, there's so much weird, cool stuff going on in Dune. Let's see. That really does kind of feel magic-y, in my opinion, even if it's not. Oh, okay, well, back to the testing station. Okay, I'm going to do that after I get some armor. Oh, no, I've already... Sandbike engine and treads. So I'll need to do that to... Where Bicol? Okay, there Bicol. I could take a run through the Imperial testing station. Wouldn't hurt. But I'm a little under geared currently. TBH. I'm not. I mean, I can do it. It's just gonna... It'll be pure suffering for me. Let's see. That's not a very good one. Bindu dodge isn't relevant to me yet. Trauma recovery. Oop. And... Oh, we're gonna hold well for a little while. Yeah, the second movie definitely gets more into, like, honestly, I feel like the second movie's amazing, but I am a lore nerd, so you could be onto something that. Okay. So pure worm juice. You're right. It's a pretty wild thing to do, and there's a reason that it's such a big deal in the movies. But I kind of like the way you put that. Yeah, so basically, if I remember correctly, what he's trying to do is essentially, like I said, that genetic memory. He's trying to unlock that because by this point he's come across the essentially the reason he exists, which is a kind of chosen one-ish situation. So again, you get the Bene Gesserit. The Bene Gesserit are really into their genetic stuff, and they've been selectively breeding humans for, at this point, about 10,000 years. And he essentially bears all of the like markers and abilities to become a sort of messiah, which is wild. And of course, Dune. Side note: this isn't going to be like Harry Potter, where Paul saves the day, or Messiah figures save the day. Frank Herbert was very big on how dangerous cults of personality can be, and how dangerous the idea of like essentially hero worship and stuff are. And yeah, it's great. I'm genuinely just a huge fan of all that, and I can talk about it for hours. So it's a good thing you're coming in here bringing up things like drinking the worm juice, because it's so cool. And if you do decide you want to get into like the lore and stuff, and you actually want to understand a little better what's going on, there's a channel called Quinn's Ideas. He used to do Game of Thrones lore videos, and he does lore videos on all sorts of kind of popular but very deep media. So Game of Thrones, Three Body Problem, like stuff you've definitely seen a lot of people talking about. And it's definitely a good way if you ever get stuck in a conversation with somebody like me, to be a little up on the lore without having to read through all of the content. Oh, I missed a thing. This is what happens when you get too silly and or goofy for your own good. I'm gonna go right across. I am not overdose on pure worm juice right now. It's such an amazing way to describe it. I am so amused. Like, it's beautiful. You're not wrong. That's literally what he was doing. Like, it's an absolutely perfect description of what was happening at that point. Misses a lot of context, but honestly, out of context, it's a pretty wild thing. Oh god, there's Warp. And we zoop across. Womp. That is the worm noise to me. So when I'm out on the deep desert, I'll listen for that sting, because that's how I know. Like, the worm. Goodness. Nope, you there. Zoop. 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 And yee shaboink. Alright. Quick deposit, quick deposit, quick deposit. Boop. Now, I need for this 2 treads. And I think it was an engine, wasn't it? Deposit all blood. We still got a bunch just laying around. Drink. Drink. I love the printer in this thing. It's so cool. Like, there's just so much about this game that I really like. Even if there's stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. Like, you know, overall, they done good. Okay, and now we need that sweet, sweet engine. Okay, and what is the lore explanation for Fade Rotha, Pelusa, Atreides considering Fades? Aha! No, these are pretty good. Had genetic markers, and he's just better than everyone by default. Not exactly. And I'll get around to that, because the Esper Baron floated away from... Okay, so the genetic stuff plays a role here. Fade Rotha is an extremely good duelist. Like, probably one of the best in the Imperium. Also, if you've ever wondered where the Imperium of Man comes from in 40k, it's just straight out of Dune. So, Fade Rotha is probably one of the best duelists in the Imperium. It's played up a little bit in the movie. In the books, he is also still extremely good. However, and actually, no, the movies does expose this a little bit. However, very often when he is fighting against drugged opponents. You can actually see it in one of the matches he fights. There's a guy that isn't, and this is part of the sort of plan to bring him out. And I don't know how much I want to roll all of this back, because I could get really into deep lore about Fade Rotha, because Fade Rotha is technically also roughly in the part of the same program that Paul is a part of. But part of it is that Paul does have the Mentat abilities and the Bene Gesserit abilities. He's also been trained by the best duelist in the Imperium. It's it's not really shown just how good Aquaman is, right? How good Duncan Idaho is as a duelist. Also, really weird that his last name's Idaho, but that's on Frank Herbert. I've always thought that was an interesting choice for a last name. But Duncan Idaho is, or was when he was alive, the best duelist and one of the best fighters in general in the Imperium. Probably, definitely within his own lifetime, if not within several lifetimes. And Paul benefited from being trained by him. Paul also, and this isn't really shown very well in the movie, Paul is also, spending a lot of his time in the desert with the Fremen, who are extraordinary fighters. Like, they're, not only are they good guerrilla fighters, like, think, like, take anything you see out of, like, the Taliban, VC, anything like that, crank it up to, like, 900, and you've got the Fremen. They're basically invisible in the desert, and they're extremely good in a one-on-one fight. And add on top of that the fact that he also has some of the weirding way, which is a combination, like we talked about earlier, of psychological and verbal manipulation and martial arts. So, like, the Prana Bindu thing is it's its own deal. Anyhow, so Paul is benefiting from all of that. It's not so much that he is meant to beat Federatha. It's that everything in his life and in several lifetimes leading up to that has led to him being extremely good. And something that doesn't get shown in the movies really very well at all is Paul's prescience. So it's alluded to a bit that Paul can see the future, right? I think you remember in the movies, like, when he freebases the worm juice, as is described, he goes from getting occasional flashes of the future to being able to see several steps ahead, more or less at any given time. Because what he has now is not just the memory of his own lifetime, he has access to the memories of his maternal and paternal line, so his mom and his dad, both of their lines. That's kind of how that genetic memory stuff works. Herbert was really stretching how genetic memory is supposed to work, but it's his book. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Anyhow, so when you get to this point, Paul isn't just able to, like, read somebody the way a Bene Gesserit would, or even a good fighter. He's not just a good duelist like his instructor. He is so familiar with the pattern of human action that he just knows what's going to happen. And it's like, even him getting struck in that duel is something he predicted. He knew had to happen for the path that he believed right to come to pass, which is wild. I mean, it's really it's complicated, but yes, Federatha was absolutely trained to deal with any threat, except for Paul. And then there's a reason for that. Partially because you can't really outdo what Paul is at this point in the story. Later on, and never going to see it in the movies, but in later books, other things are going to come up that that play into all of this and sort of act as a culmination of all of this. So when you get to, like, God Emperor of Dune, Chapter House, like, you get into those books, it gets really into that weirdness. Now, part of the reason Paul is the way he is because he wasn't supposed to be born. Paul was supposed to be female. That's what happens in Dune Awakening. Dune Awakening, we get Aristae Atreides, who is actually at one point promised to Fade Rotha. Fade Rotha and Aristae are supposed to get married and have a child. That child is actually supposed to fulfill the role that Paul ends up filling. I know I just gave you a fire hose of information, and I hope that it helps. But yeah, I'll try and just for reiteration, and I'm sure by now you get it. If you're asking these questions, you're sharp enough to figure out what I'm saying, but I want to reiterate it for the sake of my own making sure. Basically, you are correct. Fade Rotha should have been able to beat Paul. Like, absolutely 100% should have been able to beat Paul under normal circumstances. But Paul had, in fact, drunken the sand scissorp, and that made him able to see the future. And that, coupled with everything else about him, resulted in him being able to get the better of fate. Ironically, that if you're not sure too what the deal with the Bene Gesserit seducing Fade Rotha before all of this goes off was about, like that one chick like going and sleeping with him was all about, that's because they were trying to get things back on track, because at this point I think they thought Paul was dead, or were pretty sure they were going to get Paul killed. Yeah. Dune, the Dune lore is very much, it takes the idea of, like, you know how in
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is
Game of
approaching.
Thrones, there's circles within circles and circles within more circles of plans, right? There's layers and layers and layers of people manipulating other people and doing their own little thing. Dune cranks that up to 11 and spans it over 10,000 years, because it's wild like that. Okay, we gotta let this sandstorm go by. He may have been, man. So part of this too comes from the fact that Herbert was writing these books over the course of years. The first Dune books weren't actually books; they were just published in a science fiction short story magazine over the course of several issues. And so yeah, things got a little weird, and things get really, really weird in the later books as Frank Herbert gets older. I think his mind started to go in different directions than perhaps one would want their mind to go. And oh, let's see, pulls it all blood. But yeah, Frank Herbert may have been sipping on the worm juice a little bit. But, you know, I think that happens to the best of us. What am I doing right now? That's what... But, you know, I hear that it tastes a little like cinnamon, so that's cool. We do enjoy cinnamon here. Though it's blue. I think if I drank something blue and it tasted like cinnamon, I would be taken aback. I would probably feel a little betrayed, to be honest. Like, hold on. This was supposed to taste like blue. It tastes like red. which I think that's probably one of my favorite struggle stories. Just total side note. So back in the tens. Oh, that's a fair point. You get the worm juice. I'm gonna have to try that. I actually like Fireball well enough, and I used to keep blue curacao on hand because I like mixing drinks. Because I'm weird, and I guess I like to be able to ignore the burn of liquor, which is kind of weirdly contradicting to my enjoyment of Fireball. But anyhow, you know, I'm gonna have to try that at some point, though. I am. This is. Now, I'm not much of a mixologist, so I don't know if it tastes very good the way I'd mix it, but I do have a friend who is, and she'd probably do quite well. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I was talking about. So back in the day, back in the tens, I was living with a couple of my buddies, and we had, of course, we're spending most of our money on the funny adult beverages, and so so a lot of the time we had to make ends meet, or cut corners on other things. Bootleg worm juice. That I'm honestly a little bit threatened by the concept of bootleg worm juice. Of course, that's. I mean, you're right, yellow and blue is green. But that really depends on how the whiskey itself heats up. Yeah. It happens to look a lot like just the inside of a toilet bowl. And my liver hurting, which, you know, what's new, but... Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think you would just see... It would be more like sticking your hand in the box. But instead of the hand, it's like sticking your head in the box. And yes, it still will be pain, but also probably a lot of nausea. Okay. Got this. Liver. Liver. Huzzah. We got Sims Cutter. Got customizations. Also, I want this guy's outfit. It's just cool. What time is it? Yeah, I've been at this for a little bit. I need to get some water, ironically. So I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna tip you over to Spice War Symphonics. Yeah. And I am... Oh, yeah. Gotta do that. Graphics, full screen window, that's why. Huzzah, thank you for the follow, Mr. Lingo Bard. Hey, the thing works. Excellent. Okay. I am actually going to put my cell phone and be right back, so enjoy your walk, and I shall also be right back myself. None of those are good. Alright, there we go. Cool. Now I'm back. I guess Mr. Lingobart's probably still on his walk, but that's okay. We shall... Oh, Lord. We shall vibe all the same. I've got more incense in. We talked about cinnamon and stuff. I threw together some a nice little quick mixture of cinnamon and orange, as well as some myrrh. We like myrrh. More of a frankincense guy, but myrrh does what it needs to does. Get over here, have a look at this. Metabolize poison. Okay. Okay, I need to grab this one so I can grab that. Rapid register will be handy. Oh, I forgot to do the armor and stuff, didn't I? Oh, that's okay. I'm also gonna unzip this jacket, because it's starting to warm up now, I guess. Yeah, we're going back to old school. I just feel like I'm listening to the bass soundtrack, which is a good soundtrack if I'm listening to the Symphonics one. But, well, I need to get back into playing Spice Wars. It's a good game. I've also been playing some Rogue Trader, which is good. It's very heavy on story, it seems to be, which is fine. I think that's, you know, I like story games. But I'm gonna run over this person. LOL. Oh, that's a worm. He may not be interested in me, but I'm definitely not interested in him. Thou hast been jukest. Okay, so this one's around here somewhere. Like the mighty Hyrax. make my home among the rocks. Oh no. Ah. Boltzmann actuators. Well, that's nothing to shake a stick at, I suppose. Ah. No. Okay, I dig that that's an AoE. It's actually really handy. Aha. And now, the big suck. Oh, I see. Thought I just had to kill one. I must eat more than one. Yeah. It really smells like my grandmother in here, and I'm cool with that, because I miss my grandma. But, that's part of it, I guess. Okay. Music's so chill. I could just vibe and listen to it for hours. Oh no! There we go. Like, I like the other stations, but this one might be my favorite. Just like, this is the most, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, this is for a Dune game, but it feels like very water, like an oasis, or something even more water-ier. probably should have found a closer gap, but this will work fine. Oh, he's not interested in me. Alright. There's a little camp. There is an achievement for finding all these little camps. What are you doing?
Someone's here.
Alrighty. I really like that it's pretty easy to get money too. Like you just have to look for it, essentially. Like there's all these guides like, oh, you can get all X, Y, Z amount of money in no time by doing this, that, and the other. And you can. You can get a lot of money by doing the, oh no. Let me down! Ah, yes. Alrighty. Hopefully, that'll be all she wrote. Don't have compatible container. This is pressing. That's fine. I don't really care. I think I can make one out of my inventory, but we don't need that much blood. We are moving soon anyway. Life is about to get significantly more difficult. Bum, 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 bum. I love these old school soundtracks too. I didn't play a lot of Super Nintendo when I was younger, but like it was definitely a thing I did on my weekends. But we did also have a Sega Genesis at one point, which was really cool. It was a nice system. Had one of the Dune games. I think it was just Dune, maybe, or Dune 2. Anyhow, but it was good. We, you know, played it a bit. Or I played it a bit. Wasn't very good at it. Of course, I was 6. So, it's pretty sure I would have been. Yeah, because somewhere between 6 and 14. I think. 6 and maybe 6 and 12. I'm trying to remember. I definitely lived at that house when I was, or when the shenanigan happened. The shenanigan, of course, being the business with the Twin Towers and Pentagon. Yeah. I think we moved pretty soon after that, though. Full set of scavenger. I'm gonna run out and grab some copper real quick. I do have the new cutter, which is nice. Let's also put some blood on the cook. Eric, open. Thank you. Pause it all blood. Alright. I'm so used to a much bigger cutter ray. Used to like the Mark 6. Right side, it's easier to get a whole lot more now. I really like those windows.
I have crossed the Vermilius Gap, off-worlder, and I still haven't shaken my unwanted followers. I'm afraid I must delay our reunion until... well, I fear drastic measures might be required. But fear not, off-worlder. You've come this far alone. I'm impressed. You're a long way from that mewling Mora I dragged from the wreckage of the Proteus. Listen,
Oh, yes.
you'll need a vehicle to cross the sands to the Paranorth and reach the gap. But vehicles require components that aren't created here on Arrakis. Arrakis has a long history, off-worlder, more than you might imagine. Some things, like the Imperial testing stations, contain echoes of the past. But more importantly, they contain stockpiles of components you'll need. Just be careful. Those old ruins are a beacon for all kinds of scum.
Excellent. Right. Okay, do I not have... Go. Okay, we'll get the Kalastrinker. Now I do kind of want to go get that armor. This is actually one of my favorite tracks. It's really good. The cover they did in Dune 2000 is really, really good. I can drop these. It's a lot heavier, which is good. Okay, don't want to lose out on these. We do have a sandbike booster, which we're going to use for the sandbike on this go round. But I do like this. Like, it's nice, it's bouncy, it's like... Grab this, we're gonna grab the still suit, the fuel. We're gonna grab these. Ugh. I don't want to drop the inventory because it's going to be handy. Can't put that up. The rocks will be easy to redo. Repair stuff will be easy to redo, but we have use for it currently. Mola pistol I can drop. Well, or rifle I can drop. Okay, but I already have those things. I'm gonna just disassemble my bike and see if that does it. Yes. Unfortunately, my power pack, it does not agree. Trying to remember where that... Okay, I only have... Oh, let's see. Does this require copper ingots and particle accelerators? Definitely have that. Okay. I want to make sure we cross with all the blood. Yeah, I'm having to... Uh-oh. Put some of this down real quick. I wish I could just, like, get on the bike and it would be like, oh, obviously you have this. May I fabricate the sand bike now? Thank you. Oh, I need to... What do I need for that? Copper, a lot of copper ingots, apparently. Alright. Good thing I got a whole bunch of copper right here. Come on. Yep. Oop. Okay. Alright, there we go. Got some copper. A little bit of sunstroke never hurt anybody. Couldn't imagine why it's something people try and avoid. Alright. I feel like I'm missing something here. Gonna go get more copper just to have this squared. Probably should have a still suit kind of squared away, just to like make sure I'm all good to go, because I will say still suits are really good if you're just doing resource runs. They're real handy in the deep desert.
There's someone here. Eyes on top side.
And there we go. All right. Okay, I'll need iron for that. That's fine. Locked. Okay, so we gotta get across the gap, I guess.
That's it, Offworlder.
That's
You're
all.
ready. I'm waiting at Mirzabah. That's the great rock formation that looks like a giant hammer. Be careful. Vehicles are fast, but nothing can outrun Shai Halud. You can only hope to get between safe areas more quickly. I'll see you soon.
Okay. We are going to have a little bit of a time. We're not careful. I have space. That's the question. A question, anyway. Let's go ahead and take a fair few of these. Hold up. Thought it was weird I didn't have any of those. Alright. It's time to bounce us. Alright. We do have a couple little errands to run before we actually go. Let's do this. Now I am fully aware I've done basically none of the content down here. We're pretty close to a downtime. So I kind of wanted to see if I could get up there before all that. Besides, if I can get up there, then we can start getting iron and stuff, which will make getting the higher level bike, which ostensibly should be a little easier to get across the desert with. At least I think so. Oh, and that's right. We'll be able to use the ornithopter to go back and forth, which will be really nice. The like ornithopter taxi. It's handy. I may do another run in the lab here, because there's no particularly good place to do it in Vermilius Gap, like proper. Oh, let's see here. we gotta talk to this guy. I'm gonna see if there are some more contracts around, because sometimes there are.
Back again, like the sour tang of rancid wine. It's over then. Good. Did they deserve to die? Who knows? Oh, they took me to a bar. Got me drunk on spiced beer and plied me. Aye. Killing them changes nothing of who I am.
All right.
I'd swear you're a fully trained trooper pulling one over on me.
You keep coming. Indeed.
Okay, that is probably going to be the best place for me to go across. Makeshift clothing set variant, okay. All right. It looked like crossing here would be a good call, so that's what we're going to try. Okay. There's the warp. Big money, no wormy. And we made it. Alright. Phew. It always makes me nervous. I know I can do it, and I know I can do it with relatively little effort. It just is a little nerve-wracking. Okay, where are the homies? Oh. Oh no. Crap. Oh. Interesting. Alright. I've made it this far. I think I even know what rock formation I'm on. More or less. Yes. Uh-oh. Cutscene. I think I'm not in the middle of going anywhere or doing anything. Yeah, there you go. Get him. Get him.
You might have seen my little pyrotechnics display, Off-Worlder. But whether you did or not, the long and short of it is that I must go. And quickly. The Sardaukar have my scent, and the Emperor's hounds are not known for their mercy. I do not know when we will meet again. Continue to follow your path. Let the desert teach you as you walk in the footsteps of the Fremen. Find allies. It is hard to survive without friends. And remember, Arrakis will sharpen you, Off-Worlder. Make sure you become the right kind of blade.
I wonder if we can do that. Like, I've never tried to shoot down their ships.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Oh, good. Alright, my solution to this is going to be finding a hole and hiding in it.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm.
All right. A classic trick I learned back in my Conan Exile days. Find a little nook in a rock and stick your nose in it. What? Yeah, I can do that. Oh boy. Well. Okay. Now I need to get across without getting the warp. Wouldn't be terribly difficult. Well, I could do a little smiley face run, but oh boy. All right. Well, there we go. I have lots of little quests that I can turn in up here. But what I am going to do first is I want to set up my little base over here. Going to make it massively inconvenient to go other places here, but it's going to make it real easy to get across to over here and get into steel production, which to me is actually very important. All right. I get a little bit of shelter down just for the sake of uncrispifying myself. Got some of the Dune Man stuff here. We've also got a lot of the Chome facility stuff, but not as much as I had wanted. We're going to explore the Dune Man collection a little bit more. Yep. All right. Okay, we are 2 hours into this stream, however. I have completed my goal of getting over here. Tomorrow may be a chill, fun building stream. Or whenever the next time I get on. So, let's... Oh, I need to power this thing before I hop off. 8. Change that. Over here. Grab this.
Mayday! Mayday! This is the Guild Harvester Mithra!
Oh!
Crew tag 8242. Our carry-on is taking heavy fire. There's black smoke, and they're not responding to comms. Carry-on hit! Connector cable snapping! We're going down!
Okay, well, it's cool we have access to that now. Guess it makes sense that we'd have access to that. Because TBH, the rewards felt a little underwhelming when I was already done with the game doing that DLC. So, yeah. Alright. Well, I've been Steel Walrus. Y'all been awesome. Thanks everybody that stopped by and said howdy, and hopefully I'll catch more of you in the future.